Welcome to Kidmissing Radio. I am your host, Angelina Wilson, and this is a case of Mary Anderson, or the Cipher in Room 214, as she is sometimes called. Um, she was a lady who died in a hotel room in Room 214 in Seattle, Washington. The hotel was called the Hotel Vintage Park. When she did not check out of the hotel as scheduled, they went into her room and found that she was deceased. She was laying on top of the bed on her own pillows with a Bible opened and spread over her chest. And she had drank Crystal Light and Metamucil with cyanide. I'm not sure whether it was Crystal Light that she used to mix the Metamucil in. I'm thinking it probably was. Mixed with, like I said, cyanide. There are a lot of questions about her passing. One of mine is, did she make a Crystal Light drink, mix some Metamucil in, and not know that there was cyanide in the Metamucil? And it's also strange that the cyanide didn't cause, that she was just laying there so calmly. Because cyanide is not a pretty death usually. So that was pretty odd as well. Her nails were painted cream. She had expensive Estee Lauder cosmetics, and she was wearing them, including a red lipstick. Now, I've seen the pictures of her in the room, and to me, she looks like there are a couple of bruises, just light ones, in a couple of spots. And she looks older than what they stated they felt her age to be. She gave the name Mary Anderson, which was not her name. She gave an address in New York as her address. She obviously was familiar with New York because she gave a phone number from a different borough than the stated address. And the address, I think the zip code and the street, might have been in a different borough as well. So she knew her way around New York to be able to purposefully mix up the boroughs like that. It would have to be someone familiar with the city to be able to do that. I couldn't do that. Excuse me. She had a kitchen bowl and an iron with her. The kitchen bowl, I feel like, might have been a bowl that meant something to her. In some way. I have one of my grandmother's pants. I don't use it just because it's too big for just me. Um, it's what's called a Dutch oven, you know? And not only that, but the woman didn't leave her room for 2 days. Didn't leave the room at all. Now, right now, Author is doing DNA on, well, has done DNA on her, and they're working on the genealogy. Now, I don't know if, because hers was crowdfunded at the same time that the Christmas tree lady was crowdfunded, and they've already identified her. So I don't know if they're having trouble getting close enough matches to identify her or what's going on. I also know that her DNA revealed that she was Middle Eastern. Um, the question is, do I have this in these notes? Excuse me. This lady was overweight. She had a men's jacket from a pricier brand called Himalayan Outfitters. Excuse me, Himalayan Outfitters. And yeah, I don't see um hmm. She also had a dental plate, and she had a um an IUD, which stands for intrauterine device, which are used to prevent pregnancy. It's generally, back when she would have had it, a copper coil with a little, they're T shaped, and they shove them up there from down below. And those caused a lot of problems. See my video on the Dalcon Shield over on Kidmissing TV. Um, and they don't use them much anymore. In fact, there's only one copper one, and that's called Murena. And it wasn't around in 1996 when this lady died. So, um, oh gosh, I am so sorry. Um, okay, she was. They stated her to be in her late 30s or early 40s. To me, she looked like she was probably in her 60s. She was obese, possibly morbidly obese. Um, I don't know the specific, um, what it takes, the difference between the two. Uh, in technical terms. And I'm not being mean by saying that she was obese or morbidly obese. I am saying that as a descriptor only. Um, we were talking about her IUD and how it was copper. In 1996, when she was found, I don't know how many copper IUDs were around. Now there's only one, Murena. Most of them are IUDs that are full of hormones that release over time, the timed release hormone IUDs. Um, I personally wouldn't use one. Um, but too many dangers if you ask of me. Um, so, and she had not had any children. She had had what appeared to be a breast reduction surgery. Again, her DNA disclosed that she was um, excuse me, Middle Eastern, which is interesting. I find that interesting. Um, she left a note saying that no one was to blame for her death but her. She left money for the hotel. She was a very similar scenario to the Christmas tree lady, who, like I said, has been identified. I just can't think of her name. Um, excuse me. And like I said, the crowdfunding for both was completed at the same time. They got the money at the same time. So, like I said, I don't know if um, they're just having trouble getting matches that are closer to her, um, generationally closer to her, or what the issue is. Um, but I sure do hope they're able to identify her soon. This is one of those cases that I've literally, I have a pile. I know you can't see it, but I have a pile. She probably got her IUD in the 80s. Um, Maybe even the 70s, because she never had a child. Now, was it potassium cyanide or sodium cyanide? We don't know. I do know that potassium cyanide is more common. I also know that you can get your hands on cyanide without having, a chemical person license or having to go through a chemical lab where they take down information and stuff. If you happen to work in the costume jewelry industry, and I guess there are other industries that use it, but for a woman, it makes sense. If you work in the costume jewelry industry, they use it as part of plating and different other processes that they do. Because as a matter of fact, if I can talk, as a matter of fact, let me repeat that because it kind of all got blopped up into one. Um, I remember seeing a case on a show quite a number of years ago, probably decades ago, where a man killed either his spouse or his partner with cyanide that he got by stealing it from the, or I might have that backwards, it might have been a woman, but somebody got from their job working in a factory that makes costume jewelry. The hell? Oh. um Sorry, I was getting a text. I'll answer it when I'm done. Um, and her coat was a man's coat, which I don't find unusual because I can remember back in the 80s, the women wore men's jeans because they just fit better. Because men's jeans are measured differently than women's jeans. Men's jeans are not like small, medium, and large, or a size 14, 16, or whatever, you know? Men's jeans are measured by waist and inseam. So 36, 32, whatever. Um, so because they're measured a little differently, some of the women, particularly the women of a larger weight, found them to be more comfortable and a better size fit for them. So she wore a man's jacket. Maybe it was a better fit for her. The video's going a little crazy. Um, and the Metamucil, by the way, came from Arizona. Hmm. And she had pressed maple leaves into a newspaper. So that fueled speculation she might have been from Canada. I don't think so. Now, given the fact that we know that she was um, of Middle Eastern descent. Her family Bible is a family. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Murena. It's Paragard. That is the only copper IUD now. Sorry about that. I completely got that wrong. It was Paragard. So I need to correct myself there. I said it like 2 or 3 times. Murena. No, Paragard. Um, I have I have so many notes, and the room wasn't cheap. It was $175 a night, which she prepaid for. Um, so, but because of the pressed maple leaves, and I also find it odd that her Bible was one of those big family Bibles, but nothing written in it. I always find it odd when those don't have anything written in them, unless they look like they're new and somebody hadn't had a chance yet. Hers wasn't new. Hers was described as well loved. But there was nothing significant about any of the verses on the page that she had it open to, in terms of death or in terms of any kind of clue. So, did I write down which verses it was open to? There was also speculation she could have been a patient of a psychologist that lost his license for having an inappropriate relationship with a patient. I pretty much ruled her out as the that jeweler. Um, and one side of her mouth was at a droop. Ooh, yeah, yeah, I want a female. Sorry, guys, this is important. Anyway, talking about my PCA situation. Um, Her glasses were from a brand called Bon Marché, which sounds like it's probably an expensive brand. I think they said it was. Um, anyway, and it was a pipe bomb, or a pipe thought to be a pipe bomb, dropped at the courthouse across the street. Some speculation was that she was there because her son or something was on trial at the court, but they said she never had children. And they thought it was going to be a very easy um, excuse me. But she had never had children, so that's not possible. um, may have been involved in something at the courthouse, and that's why she was there. Now, here's a quote from the investigator at the King County Medical Examiner's Office, Jerry Webster. He said, quote, "It has been increasingly important to find out who this woman really is before we lay her to rest. We just don't like to let go." Here's another quote. "She goes to great lengths to hide how she dies, but none of us, no matter what we do, can disappear without a trace." Okay, I have so many notes because there's a lot about the case. Just unfortunately, not her name. I don't know where she got the name Mary Anderson, but it's the name she used. In some places, it said Mary Andrews, um, but it was Mary Anderson. I wonder how much work they did in Arizona, given that that's where the Metamucil came from. I'm assuming, I don't know if that was where it was manufactured or where it was sold. If it was where it was manufactured, it could have been sold anywhere. But it's a drug, an over the counter drug. So it would have had to have had, um, it would have been taxable. Therefore, it would have had to have had some kind of indication for that, like a tax stamp of some sort. Um, so I don't know if they were going by that. So now she had to have traveled some way. A lot of speculation is that she was that she came by cab from somewhere. She also had a bunch of clothes and she hung them all up. A lot of velour suits, which they said were high class, expensive. that kind of thing. So, um, anyway, um, so this woman was a woman of means. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that she or her family owned a business. Um, because a lot of people that come here from the Middle East can do so to open businesses, stores, and things like that. That's why they come here. Or to work for their family's business if family has already started a business here. Um, Things that confuse me the most. If you're going to take your own life, why would you bring your perfume, a bunch of expensive cosmetics, um, excuse me, excuse me, I'm trying not to burp, um, a bunch of clothes. I think she had like two suitcases full of clothes. Why would you bother hanging them all up and making everything neat? And she brought her toothbrush and her toothpaste and her all her toiletries. If you're just going to this fancy hotel to end your life, wouldn't you put on the makeup you wanted to be in, the outfit you wanted to be in? Maybe take a pocketbook. If you don't want to be identified, take the wallet out or the IDs out. Go into the hotel and that's it. Why would you take all this other stuff? In a bowl? And why would you worry about taking Metamucil? Why wouldn't you just drink the Crystal Light? A lot of things don't add up to me to it being a suicide. I understand that she left a note, dead by own hand or whatever. I don't have family and stuff like that in the note, so don't try to look for them. Blah blah blah. Excuse me. She had a copy of the newspaper. Um, and this was in October of 1996. Make sure I have the date right. And she got a superior guest room, quote unquote. Where is the date? I know I have it here somewhere in my notes. Also, there was a pill bottle. And I wondered if they had tested that pill bottle for residue to see what medication that pill bottle contained. October 11th, 1996. Um, I mean, I literally have my own note plus a whole bunch of stuff printed out here. And she had like I said, a copy of the newspaper. They thought it was a newspaper, the Seattle Times, for October 5th, but it might have been for the following week. Um, there's been speculation about the date. So, hmm. So anyway, um, I really, really want her identified. I just feel for her. I can't explain it, but I feel for her. Um, that's why I have an entire file on her because I feel for her. Um, the next show we're going to be doing is a little more local to me, and I hope that you'll join us at the end of September for that show. Um, if I can figure out how to use the Riverside app a little bit, the Riverside page a little bit better, um, excuse me, I may do it right from here. I just have to figure out how to get more than one person in here. Because that's going to be a lot easier if we have more than just the two of us doing it. Um, there's a huge folder that I've got growing on the new case coming. Well, it's not a new case to me, but um, it'll be a new case to a lot of you. Put this back in the file. And if you were just going to take your life, why would you um, just get any kind of aspirin? But this woman had needs. There's no question about that. This we know for sure. We know she was 5'8". She was 200 and hold on. I know she was 5'8" because I wrote it down. Um, 240 pounds. That's a large lady. And 5'8" is tall for a woman, but 240 pounds is still kind of heavy for 5'8". Um, excuse me. So yeah. She had dyed reddish hair. It was, I would say, it was naturally quite dark, probably black because she was Middle Eastern. Brown eyes. She had a darker skin tone. Again, her nails were painted a cream color. She was wearing what they described as a pink lipstick. In the pictures, it comes off just a little bit more red. All of her cosmetics were Estee Lauder, which is high end, expensive cosmetics. Velour suits from Nordstrom, which is very expensive. She had gloves from Macy's, I think, somewhere like that. She had, I mean, a real leather purse. Um, don't know what the brand was. Ooh, excuse me. Uh, I'm trying to give you all of that before I end the show. All of her particulars. She had a pock mark on her nose. Um, the label had been removed from the pill bottle in her possession. She excuse me, had spent 2 nights there. She had put the do not disturb sign on the door and she never left the room. I'm wondering if she took a shower, um, and got herself all made up. Her hair was done. She had her own pillows with her, and I believe she had a blanket with her. And I know a lot of people are going to say, how can she be a Middle Eastern woman when she had the Bible and not the Quran? Not all Middle Eastern countries are necessarily strictly Muslim. Um, for instance, Egypt has a very large Christian population. It isn't necessarily a Muslim country. I mean, yes, they have Muslim people, but they also have a large Christian population. Some of those countries almost require you to be Muslim, but a lot of them don't. So it's not unusual. Excuse me. Um, so thank you very much for joining me. If you have any information in this case, you can call one more somewhere. Goodness. Um, okay, I can't find a phone number, but I will add this. Uh, I wish that they would put pictures of the note out in public as well as her registration at the hotel so that people can see her handwriting because somebody might recognize her handwriting. You can call the Seattle King County Coroner's Office or the Seattle Police Department if you have any information in this case. Unfortunately, I don't have their numbers in front of me. Thank you so much for joining me in keeping this woman's memory alive. Somebody's missing her, a niece, a nephew. Somebody's missing her. Maybe an aunt, an uncle. You know, I was thinking about it in terms of me. I could say in a note I have no family, you know, which would be true in the sense that I don't have immediate family. I don't have a mom and dad or brothers and sisters anymore. Um, They don't have a mom and dad anymore or brothers and sisters. What I do have, though, is I have cousins. I have aunts and uncles, and she might too. She might even have siblings. Who knows? So, thank you for joining me. God bless you. Please join me next time when we take it a little closer to my home. Thank you so much, guys. More on the next video. Yeah. More on the next podcast coming up. So please watch our social medias for that. Bye, guys. God bless you.